In recent years, there's been lots of literature, lots of writing about the challenges and the benefits of short-term missions. And I certainly understand that there are some examples of ways that short-term mission trips have not been done well. With that said, I very much am a big supporter and proponent of short-term missions. I just think there's a lot of value in Christians in this context getting on an airplane and going to another context around the world, having their eyes opened to the reality of lostness around the world. I think there's an exposure piece. I think there's an education piece. I think people don't know what they don't know. In many ways, you may say, well, that doesn't make much sense. But the reality is, it's one thing for me to hear a pastor preach and say something from the pulpit while I sit in a pew. It's another thing for me to go to this city, to this country, to get off an airplane and to see it firsthand with my own eyes. And so I'm a big proponent in it. I think there's a lot of value in it. And so as people are considering short-term missions, I would just give them a couple of things to be aware of before they go on those trips. Number one, I would ask them to make sure they understand what is the purpose of the trip. Has this trip been clearly thought out? Or is this just something that somebody's throwing together so that we can say we did a short-term mission trip? Is there a clear purpose behind it? For example, some trips are designed to be what I call being trips. And the primary purpose of those who are going are just to be on the ground with missionaries who are sent out from their church. And so they might be serving in a really difficult and challenging context. And so the goal of the team is basically to go and spend 4, 5, 6 days just being with them, encouraging them, having conversation with them, praying with them, maybe reading some scripture with them, hanging out with their children. Other type trips might be more doing oriented. So we're actually going to go to this college campus and we're going to share the gospel, or we're going to run a VBS in this part of town, or we're going to do a medical clinic in this place or that place, or we're going to run a sports camp. And so that would be more of a doing type trip. Other type trips might be a vision trip. We have students all the time who are considering, should I go to this place as a missionary? And so they might go for a week or two on a vision trip trying to figure out, is this where God might be leading me to go? And as we think through those 3 different types of trips, and there are probably others that we could add to the category as well, I think all of those are valid purposes, valid reasons to go on mission. But it's just important that we understand and know what that is. Secondly, I want to talk about, is there a clear spiritual component to the trip? Now, I'm not saying that any trip that is designed to build something or paint something or construct something, I'm not saying necessarily that is a bad trip. But I want to make sure that there's a very clear spiritual component to that. And what I mean by that is there any kind of evangelism? Is there any kind of discipleship? Is there any teaching that's going to be going on? Any encouragement of local believers? Any equipping? Those kinds of things. Those would be the spiritual components that I would be looking for in a short-term trip. Number 3, I would say that short-term trips give us an opportunity oftentimes to do things that we don't get to do in our normal context because of life and busyness and all the things that are going on. And so use the short-term opportunity to practice and to do things that you might not do in your normal everyday life. For example, I tell my students, if we were going to schedule a time to go and share the gospel here locally in Louisville, we would have to get each other's calendars together and figure out, okay, what days of the week are you available and when can you do it? When can I do it? And we might be able to find some windows of time, but it might be challenging to figure out how to do that here locally. The beauty and the blessing of a short-term mission trip is once we go, we've kind of hit the pause button on work and family responsibilities, and we basically have 12, 15-hour days to devote ourselves to these activities. And so use this as an opportunity to get reps, to get practices, sharing the gospel, doing discipleship, teaching in a formal or informal setting. I think short-term missions are really valuable for all of those things. So for people who are considering going on a short-term mission trip, I would just encourage you, what is the purpose of the trip? Is there a clear spiritual component? And make sure that you use this trip as an opportunity to practice and to get some reps doing things maybe that you don't have as many opportunities to do back home. I do believe that when you go on these trips, that God will really open your eyes, that He will use it to shape and to form you more into His image. And I think you're going to benefit, and I think the people on the ground are going to benefit. And as a result, I think you're going to be really encouraged by the short-term opportunity.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this content, visit sbts.edu/sample to access free theology lectures from Southern Seminary.